Alright, I'll go ahead and start recording. Check it out, guys. This is Battle for Wesnoth, which you've seen me play before. As Salty says, it looks like you stole the first word in the stream, but that's fine. I've got Hardwood with me here on...
That's me.
Hey, on a call on Discord. And what we're doing is we're not actually playing Wesnoth. We are going to watch a replay from an older version of the game, I guess. How long ago would you say this version was out?
Oh, like, not long ago at all. Just before the Steam release, really.
Okay.
Like, 2018, even.
Ah.
It's a pretty recent version of the game. There's been no real balance changes made.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they have a pretty fast development cycle, I guess, on this game.
Well, kinda. I mean, they delayed the Steam release for a really long time, but let's jump into things, shall we?
Sure, sounds good. So it looks like we're watching a game. It's got an elf player named Daniel BR, I assume he's Brazilian, versus...
Daniel BR is, okay, that's Caritas. So these players are famous guys from the heyday of Wesnoth.
Okay.
You know, these are top ladder players, and they're playing on a really epic map called Howling Ghost Badlands. How epic is that name?
Howling Ghost Badlands.
Badlands.
I like the impassable mountains in the center. That's kind of thematic. I guess this is where the ghosts hang out.
I guess so, right?
Yeah.
And maybe in those ruined villages. They're just for all the guys who haven't played this map or seen it much before, the ruined villages, you can find them like maybe if you scroll up a bit to the top center of the map.
Top center. I don't see anything that's ruined. I see like desert villages, swamp villages.
Yeah, this is an older version of the game, so the ruined villages are not there yet. But
they may not have had those tiles yet.
They had some decoration, just ruined villages that don't give you any income. But all the villages here actually give you gold.
We have ruined castles, which I'm not sure. I don't think that actually affects anything.
Yes.
They
do actually.
Well, it counts as water tiles, right?
Tiles. Water, land, and castle tiles.
Interesting. Okay.
So these actually ruined castle tiles are big points in the defense, actually. So
yeah, the same as a castle, basically, right? Or water, if it's like whatever's best. It takes the best value. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hardwood here is way better at this game than me, so he's going to be our technical advisor.
No, don't worry about it. I'm just another player. I'm not a hater.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the point of view to each team so we can actually see what they're doing on their turns and what they can see. And maybe I'll change it if it's useful.
Actually, I would suggest to put it on full map.
Just full map
the
whole time?
The whole thing.
Okay, okay. That sounds good. So, for those of you who haven't played Wesnoth, this is just like a tactics game. And these two guys are going head-to-head in a 1-versus-1. So why don't we go ahead and see what this guy does with his first turn. I think that red...
Spotting in the red bottom corner, we have Daniel BR. And in the top side, in blue team, orc against elf, we have Caritas.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And we have he's chosen the elvish hero, and the blue has chosen the troll rock lobbers. So I think
they must have gone random. Everyone goes random.
See, that's funny to me because I thought this dude, troll rock lobber, is generally considered to be the best hero to start with on orc. Is that right?
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
Okay.
It's not a bad hero by any means.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and play the turn and see what his first turn looks like.
Okay, so...
Scroll back there.
Yeah, okay. So on the first recruit, what you want to do on this map is just go with your leader towards the center and go to take one of those two keeps slightly in the center.
Oh, I see.
And
because he can go up and he can recruit here.
There are 3 keeps on each side. There are 3 keeps.
You know, I just realized how interesting of a map this is because usually it seems like you want to keep your hero in the back, but on this one you can proceed to recruit more as you go forward since there's keeps.
Yeah, so actually it really matters which side you have your hero on, because your leader on. In this case, it's a hero, because then the leader can make a really active role in the defense or the attack. And you can even go on your opponent's side of the map and take one of his keeps, potentially.
Right. You can recruit
and that
in his
produces
territory.
really dynamic games on Howling Ghost Badlands, where there are even some base trades. Can you imagine that? Base trades, like in StarCraft.
I never would have thought of that it happening in Wesnoth, but that is interesting.
So what you want to do on the first turn is you want to recruit a bunch of scouts and fast units so you can just go take those villages really quickly and keep your upkeep low. Because you're going to move your hero ahead anyway and recruit on the other keeps anyway.
Yeah, so it looks like they started with 100 gold, so was he able to make 3 scouts, or did he purposefully choose to make this archer, even though he could have afforded another scout?
He was able to make 3 scouts. Scouts are at 18 gold apiece.
Interesting.
Let's see what the orc or Caritas recruits.
Sounds good. 2 wolf riders, and that's it. See, as a neophyte, at the game, that surprises me. Because, I always assumed you wanted to just dump your gold onto the board immediately. Are they waiting to see what the other guy gets, and then they're going to adjust their strategy from there? Is that the idea?
Well, that's not the only thing. Really, you only need 2 wolf riders to grab the faraway villages, because you can see the villages are 8 away, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 away.
I see.
So he tried with a second wolf rider to be quick. Can you mouse over it?
This
it
guy?
is not quick.
That one's quick.
But
the bottom one
is
quick.
Not quick. The top one is not quick, so it won't be able. Actually, let me count the hexes. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Is there a way that I can see its movement range like in a real game? Because normally I'd be able to click this.
No, there is no way. But they are I think the villages are both 8 movement away. They have to be. So actually, yeah, you just need scouts to grab the villages. And later, you will move your hero forward and recruit as you advance, and take an active position with the hero.
That really surprises me that you can't see that. Maybe in a more modern version of the game, maybe they'll add that soon. That'd be valuable.
Yes.
All right, let's keep going. So, as we expected, the scouts go out and grab these villages, and he actually recruits more stuff. Oh, he got a woes.
Okay.
He got a woes and 2 fighters.
So that woes, he wants to hide that woes. For all the newbies out there, the woes is, if you put them on forest tiles, unless there is an enemy unit next to the woes is invisible. So he can actually hide that woes from his opponent and make some nice ambush attacks in his defense.
Yeah, I actually moused over the tooltip here. And it's a very fun thing. He will not attack in the process of that, but it will stop the enemy from moving, and then you can really, really muck up the other guy's positioning with this ability.
All right, let's see what Caritas does.
So he was able to reach 2 villages with both the wolves, like he thought. He makes 2 warriors, an archer, and what was that other guy? That was a third
3
grunt.
Grunts and an archer. So what this tells me is that regardless of what race his opponent is, because he doesn't know that yet. He just knows that he's only his own race is orc.
Ah, so this was random.
He wants to make a brutal rush with grunts on one side, and probably have a wolf on the other side, just for vision and threatening villages, just to be pesky.
Yeah, I see. I see. Yeah, grunts are a very powerful unit from what I understand. Like if it gets to be nighttime, because remember they're chaotic. Once it's nighttime, I've seen them just crush enemy forces just right off the bat.
Grunts. These guys are so cheap. They're 12 gold apiece. They're so cheap. They do have so many hit points, and they do so much damage with 1 hit. It really hurts to be hit by a grunt at night. It does 11 or 12 damage.
Wow.
And 1 grunt can take half a unit's HP just like that. Even more.
Impressive. All right, let's keep going. Okay, we see the scout moving up. The woes is now planted.
Okay, so Daniel takes his...
Interesting. So he's spread out here. I think you may have cut out for a moment there, Hardwood. There are no villages on the left side,
or the villages are really far back in your defense, so you actually just want to go on the right side of your hero most of the time, and defend that 1 village in front of the keep. Which,
this one
although
right here.
it is so close to the keep, is actually sometimes quite hard to defend because it's exposed from many sides. it can be attacked, a unit on that village.
Is this the one you're talking about, the sand one here, near the keep, this keep?
No, I was talking about the forward keep. And that village that's 2 hexes away from the right side forward keep.
This one right here, so I was right the first time.
Yes.
Up there.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
And he will take his hero on that side as he's moving to do right now.
Seems like he's positioning,
take part in the defense.
Let's see what happens with the orc. I assume he's going to do similar stuff. But he kind of wants the first engagement to happen at night, right? So
of course, yes.
So he's going to try to set it up for that.
All those grunts, make a brutal attack. And
he summons even more.
An assassin and a troll. Okay, very interesting recruit. Usually what you want as troll is just a lot of grunts, so you can mass grunt and overwhelm your enemy with just pure brute orcish sword force, just smashing him with all those 10 damage, 11 damage, 12 damage hits, just all those grunts. But he has only 2 grunts and some more utility units.
Do you
this
suppose?
Is quite interesting.
Do you suppose that he picked an assassin because of the fact that now they can see each other a little bit, right? When this orc moved up, he's got movement of 6, so he can see 6 tiles. So he knows that there are fighters on the board. Could that have impacted his decision to make an assassin instead of more grunts?
Yeah, it's quite possible that he recruited the assassin for that, because maybe Elf will put a fighter around the village to cover the village so it can't be attacked from so many hexes. And then that fighter could possibly be poisoned.
Right.
So that assassin is quite interesting, but it doesn't do that much damage for actually killing a unit. Right. So I'm really interested to see how this will play out.
Yeah, and because there's so many villages around, I don't really understand why poison would even be that valuable, since all you have to do is stand on a village to make it go away, you know?
Well, actually, Malcolm, poison is very deadly even for 1 turn. If you just poison a unit, the poison damage is 8 damage. And it also prevents healing from 1 turn.
That's true.
When the unit is in the village. So actually, you can consider it as around 20 damage. Poisoned 1 time. Even though the unit won't die, he is going to be useless for quite a long time.
I see.
And what a lot of players will do is when they have a poisoned unit like an elvish fighter or a spearman, if you are playing loyalist, they will just sacrifice the unit, make him die bravely so his death won't be in vain, and hit that evil assassin.
Take him out as fast as possible. Yes. And he's a marksman too, so with 3 attacks, 60% chance to hit. Seems like he'll be hitting with his poison almost every time.
Yeah, so I'm really interested to see what Daniel does.
Well, we're going to find out right now.
He grabs a village. And on the other side, he pokes around with a scout.
I'm very interested in these scouts on either side. Is he trying to flank with this, do you think, down here?
So, actually, with scouts, the reason why you get 2 scouts, well, actually, you get them anyway just to grab villages. But with 2 scouts, what you can actually do is make a run, potentially.
Okay.
So what you would be doing with that is just taking the scout and running past all the enemy lines, past all his slow units, and into his exposed backfield.
So are we harassing his econ?
Actually, it would be a really significant economic damage if he managed to reach all the villages in the back with those scouts.
Of course,
and you just take 1 village per turn, take another village, and you have trouble stopping that scout.
Because he has so much movement.
What are you going to do? Yeah, so he runs away and he heals in the village if you hit him, and he is so fast, so it takes many units to catch him. And it's really just so pesky.
He could actually make it to this village on 520 coordinate, this sand village. He could make it to that next turn, assuming that the Wolf Rider doesn't stop him.
Well, the Wolf Rider will take that village for sure.
Probably.
What Caritas will do is put his grunt on the other village that the wolf is currently on, and just be totally fine.
Talus says that playing elves is based and red-pilled. I don't think that Hardwood would agree with that.
Well, I like elves. I like orcs too, though. It's a very interesting map. As you may have known from like watching Japanese anime. The Japanese have a lot of things to say about this matchup as well in their artwork.
I
So
see.
it's very cultural
All right.
experience.
Let's see what this orc's gonna do. He does take the
Scouts with the
village.
Wolf Rider a little bit, and he takes the village.
We're gonna see an engagement now, I think, right? Or are we waiting until
And
nighttime?
he actually traps that fighter.
Oh,
Wow. So that fighter who was in a forward position, he gets trapped in that forest.
This is all he.
So
hey, look,
at
it works.
night,
Look, you can
it
actually
will
see.
be really hard to get that fighter out. Because I don't think right now that elf can hit that orc in the front who is trapping that fighter.
Which elf? Which elf are we talking about?
Just elvish side.
Oh, I see.
Yes, so that fighter will get poisoned, he will get surrounded, and he will get killed.
Well, but even though it's nighttime, and generally I'm guessing you wouldn't want to attack, these grunts don't have a ranged attack, and every single elf has a ranged attack, so couldn't they in theory take this grunt out even at night, freeing this elf?
Well, that's true, but there are no archers around. Fighters make, it's a range attack, but it's not a range attack that really kills quickly. It's 3/3 damage. The grunt has, even though it's a quick, intelligent grunt, which is, for all the viewers here, it is the most fragile grunt you can have. It still has 36 hit points, and that's 36 hit points is actually more than the Elvish fighter's hit points.
I see that.
That just goes to show how tanky, how ridiculously resilient these units are.
Sure. All right, interesting. This is about to heat up. Let's see what happens. See, I thought this might happen.
So, wow.
He's actually attacking with the healer.
So, Daniel is a brave elf. He hits that orc with many units, and he slows it and uses the hero. Very heroic effort there. And it pays off.
And he actually backs off with the scout. He sees that he's been blocked over here on this village, and so he just takes a couple steps backward. Now, why is he going here instead of trying to help out on this front? Is he just protecting his flank here?
You would need the scout there to defend against a wolf rider from villages anyway, but he took the scout back a couple steps just to prevent the wolf rider from biting him. Because, maybe he can get lucky. Maybe he can hurt the scout so it wouldn't have high hit points to defend a village. And it's really interesting what happened on the right side. That Zoking grunt, Zok is zone of control.
Yes.
That grunt in the front, he got slowed by the shaman, and actually the hero took him out when he was slowed. So slow reduces the unit's damage by half when it's hit with the slow from the shaman.
No, I don't think that the hero got the kill because he only has 1 experience. It looks like this elvish fighter got the kill. He has 8 experience now.
You're right, Malcolm. I'm saying that the hero did a lot of
damage.
Did
the damage. Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I kind of thought that would happen. I thought he would open with a slow to reduce, like you said, reduce the damage from the orc, and then everything just kind of dogpiled it.
It's interesting. Actually, I didn't expect that to happen because usually you see a lot more grunts. Right now, 1 grunt has died. There were only 2 grunts. Oh, it's so sad. He lost half of his total grunts.
So this is not going well for the orc.
More grunts. Yeah, this is quite actually an unconventional rush. There are more utility units than grunts, which is quite. It's a little bit strange, as what you would expect from the name. Even just the name grunt is that there would be many such units in the army, just cheap, cannon fodder to throw at the enemy and just overwhelm him with human wave tactics. But actually, that 1 grunt has died.
Yes, he has.
There's only 1 grunt left. There's not much punching power left in this orcish army.
What do you think he's going to do? What do you think he's going to do with this archer? Do you think he's going to sacrifice it or back it off?
Well, if it were me, because I am a camper, as everyone who knows me will say, I will just retreat. It looks very discouraging to attack into, but the wolf rider is trapped anyway, so maybe he will try to do some desperate move like trying on that fighter in the forest who just killed the grunt. Maybe he will try to get some revenge.
Ah, I see. Yes, because he can reach it. Interesting.
There's also a mountain next to him, so maybe he
That's a
can
good
do something.
defense,
But I want
yeah.
to say there's another big danger in this right now, because you remember what I said about the scout doing a run by?
Yes.
That scout is actually behind that wolf rider right now. So if he doesn't do anything to block the scout, then the scout can go in his whole backfield. So I think he will, but that takes
yeah.
obviously
He can
another
avoid.
unit away from
He
the
can avoid the
fighter.
zone of control, can't he, by going here and then around? Interesting. So he could actually reach this back sand village, couldn't he?
Oh, I'm saying that the scout could go on the orc side and take the orcs villages.
That's what I'm. Yeah, no. That's what I'm saying. This guy right here, right? Del Eldor is his random name, I suppose.
And he would go north, and he on the north side of the map.
Interesting.
Blues villages. Sand village is not in danger.
I understand what you mean. Okay.
It's
okay.
the other
way
village
around.
that
Other way
would be-
around.
Yes.
I see what you mean. All right. Well. All right. Let's see what happens next.
Yeah. So it looks bleak for the orc. Maybe he'll be able to do something. Okay. Oh,
He's
he
just
tries
going for it.
with, okay, so he tries in that elvish fight. Interesting.
He got the poison.
Alright, so he poisons the scout and blocks the scout at the same time. And he chooses to be a brave orc and fight with his leader.
He wants to make the most of this
Just
first
commit
night.
those units, yes.
You know what I
But
find
you can see
interesting?
these orcs. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say I find it very interesting that he, and I don't know if he chose to do it this way, but he gave the archer the kill. And the archer is so close to being dead right now. I mean, doesn't that seem like a mistake? And you know more about this than me, so I am curious about your viewpoint. But, like, isn't that wasted experience since this archer is probably going to die before he can level up?
Well, I would say yes, a little bit. But if you think about it, he hit with, including his leader, who is also... Really, what can he do? Because he wants to hit with a troll. His leader missed, but if his leader had not missed, maybe he could have fed the experience to the other troll. And
I see.
the archer and the grunt are both wounded anyway, so they will die for sure. It doesn't matter too much who gets the experience because they will both die.
See, this is where I would get very concerned as a newer player. The fact that he missed with his hero is really concerning since that's so much damage that didn't happen.
Oh yeah. I mean, this looks really bad, actually. The archer and the grunt will both die. The wolf may even die. And, okay, the scout doesn't get to make a run by, but he can just run away. He can heal up to fight another day. And night is ending. It is second watch, and, you know, the orc's time is running out to do damage. He has no more hitting units, and he will soon have to go back. But he will go back with what? He will just go back with dead units and a lot of experienced elves. It really looks bad for Caritas right now. So I wonder what will happen because, you know, I was told this is an epic game. And
maybe he makes a comeback somehow. RNG could play a role.
Looks quite interesting, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, by the way, I'm not sure why I was confused earlier about this village. Obviously, I had the sides mixed up in my brain.
Don't worry about it.
So I'm not sure where I was going with that, but that was silly. Alright, let's see the next turn. So obviously he takes the poison damage. The Woes heals, which is one of the...
Oh wow, so actually on this side, there were so many units. Oh, okay, wow. Okay.
Ooh.
So that archer dies, the grunt is dying too, the wolf is even getting slowed so he won't be able to run away.
Yes.
All this
Halves his
orcs are
movement.
getting massacred by the elves. It's absolutely terrible. All the orcish children are crying at this point.
This is a massacre, and his hero is surrounded. He can't get out. Is this an epic game, or is this just a brutal smash? Like, look at this. He's trapped.
I'm really worried for Caritas too, because his hero's path to the keep is blocked. So
yeah, he cannot recruit.
Take more time. He needs to kill a unit to stop to get his way back to the keep, and even then, it looks kind of dangerous.
Now, to be fair, I believe this is the most defense a troll can get on this fungus grove. So he could make...
Actually, a troll can get 60% of tons, but 50% is very good for
on the mountains, right? But that's still quite good, and I think if I can just posit a little bit of a prophecy here, if this is truly an epic game like they said, I think that he's going to move here. I think this elf is going to go down, and I think that the elf the next turn is going to just miss a lot of attacks. We'll see, though.
Well, you're right, actually. But I haven't watched this game either, of course, because I never watched the games before.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
No, that's what makes it best. But I'm curious to see if what I'm predicting is actually going to happen.
Yeah. So that elf, the archer in the castle tile, he's on 60%, but 60% is not 100%. He can still be hit, can still be killed if orc gets his hits in, and he's actually has a very important job to stop that leader from going home. So the enraged leader will just go hit the elf and see if he hits, and if he goes down, he can go back to the keep. He can make units and defend.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other side, it's quite interesting as well right now, because remember what I said about base trades and making run-bys?
You think he's going to try to go to the south instead, perhaps?
Yes. Could you maybe move the screen a little bit down?
Sure.
Yeah, so actually Elf has already taken one village of Orc, but Orc has this grunt and this wolf inside the backfield already, and there's nothing to stop them. They will go unchecked and just steal as many villages as they like, and drink and just.
It's easy to forget about. It's easy to forget about the fact that he does still have units over here. So the battle is not as bad as it looks. It looks a little scary because of the surround here, but these guys down here, they're doing work, like you said. They're doing more econ damage probably than the scout can do, since there's two of them.
Well, I wonder that because the scout actually the scout took the village of orcs first. And but the orc has 2 units, and it might even become dangerous to take units that are too close to the main fight in daytime, because there's Woses. The Woses do lots of damage in daytime. And
10 per, more.
Yeah, 16 per, actually.
Right.
Yes.
Very interesting.
But
by the way,
all this extra income won't matter if the troll leader cannot make it home to recruit again.
Gotcha.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say hi to Tone Hack. He's a very famous NetHack streamer, roguelike guy.
Oh, nice.
What's up, man?
NetHack. It's a fun game.
He's asking me about Wesnoth. So Wesnoth is a tactical game, kind of like it's open source, right? So nobody's making money off this, which makes it very impressive that the sprite work and the music and even the mechanics are actually very interesting. Turn-based, hex grid. I guess you could call it squad-based, sort of. You could compare it, I suppose, to something like, I suppose it's not 2.5D, but like general, it's kind of like Final Fantasy Tactics or Tactics Ogre. Yeah, it's just a tactics game. And what we're doing, I'm with my buddy Hardwood here, who's very good at this game.
I'm not very good.
Well, compared to me, I'm more of a neophyte. Certainly you know more than me. And we're kind of casting a replay that happened a while back between 2, I suppose, very, very good players who are well known in the community. So we have Caritas, who is playing as the orcs. They also have trolls on their side. And then he's facing up with a guy named Daniel BR, who, as I said, seems to be Brazilian. It's elves versus orcs, and Talus, also known as Alyosha's Dream, is firmly on the side of the elves. He's been rooting for them this whole time, talking about elven supremacy and how orcs deserve to lose. And the orcs are kind of the underdog right here, so hopefully we can see a comeback, because personally, I'm going to root for the orcs a little bit. I like to see an underdog win.
Yeah, right now the orcs are... they have lost so many units. They have done nothing at night, very little, and it looks quite tough for them. They're definitely the underdog.
All right, well, let's see how they get out of this pickle if they do. So he regenerates, certainly helpful. Look at that damage, man. Even the basic level 1 troll does 10 with his fists.
That's true. It is night, so the orcish units will do. Oh, 2 out of 2.
Yeah.
3 out of 4 hits on
those
that
are good
elvish
hits.
archer. Like you said, he goes down. just in the blink of an eye. It's so much damage, and he will go. The troll leader will go home. He will recruit, and the luck came in the final moment to save the orcs. This is really cool right now.
I knew it had to be something like that because it was described as an epic match. I knew it wasn't going to end like that for the troll. I knew that surround was not going to take him down. But I was worried for him because all this, so much damage is possible, especially with these two Woses. 13 damage, and this is just Dawn, even more later, because they're lawful.
Yeah, and actually the trolls, they resist blade damage and pierce damage, but not impact. So they take the full damage from Woses. Woses, you can say, are the hard counter to trolls. And they just do so much damage, the troll cannot hurt the woes, because what are you going to do? Are you going to punch a tree with your fists? That is a stupid idea.
Do you think that the orc is going to call a bunch of archers for the fire arrows, or what do you think he's going to do?
He will need archers for sure, but he will need grunts. He will need everything. All his units have died. His wounded wolf and assassin may get slowed and zocked. He needs everything right now.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure how much gold the orc has right now, but it looks like the elf is kind of dead broke. He only has 6, but we'll see what he can do with the units at his disposal. How about we...
Can you see what has happened in the bottom side? I want to see what the orc did.
Yeah, so the orc, what he did is he ran forward with this grunt to steal this village and hit the econ a little bit. And here's what surprises me, is that he moved this wolf rider up here, and I may have missed it, but I don't think he even attacked. And if he did, he missed, like everybody missed.
He didn't attack. Actually, that's quite interesting, I find, as well. So what that tells me is that Caritas wants to have the Wolf Rider take the villages after the scout. Daniel BR scout takes the village, so that way he will always be one village behind on his side of the map. Because, the wolf is recapturing villages. He doesn't get the income from the village that he has just recaptured, and the elvish scout is always standing on a village. But on the other side of the map, he has the grunt, so he is actually taking a quite balanced approach to this, which is nice, because the grunt can, as we said, he can do lots of economic damage. He can do it slowly and steadily, and he actually takes the wolf on his side to limit the damage that he takes. That's quite a nice strategy.
I see. My instinct as a neophyte would be to have gone just super aggressive and instead send the wolf in to immediately take another village. So it is interesting to see it happen
that's what
this way.
I thought he might do too. But when you look at it, actually, there's only so many villages that can be taken.
Sure.
So it's a good approach also. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's see how the elf answers. Big damage. Hits with 1, I guess.
13 damage. There's so much. And it is not even day yet. This is not the full fury of the wolves.
Dawn.
His units are being slowed. And, it's so brutal for the orc right now.
You know what's interesting to me, though? He chose to use the shaman to slow the troll. Why wouldn't you instead just use this other woes and swing twice? Because he could have killed the whelp if...
the woes could not reach.
It couldn't reach? Right.
Only has
4
movement points is a slow unit. Yeah.
See, that's the kind of thing I forget.
He cannot move that fast.
He's just a tree. Yeah, it's like Lord of the Rings, right? They do everything slowly. Okay. Pretty straightforward turn.
Scout takes another village deep into orcish territory.
Yes, he did.
Okay, it's Orc's turn now. You can see what he recruits. He has banked a lot of money because he was fighting with his leader for a long time, and now he will need units to defend against this elvish, verdant onslaught of woes.
Right. So we get a grunt and an archer.
Okay.
So now he's playing defense. He's trying to get some health back by putting his dudes on villages and regenerating 8 health every turn, every morning, or every tick of the clock, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting to me? He's doing exactly what we thought. He's just following and taking the villages as this scout takes them. He's using his wolf rider just to kind of tag along,
Yep, and also with his wounded Wolf Rider, once that Wolf Rider is healed up, he actually has 2 Wolf Riders.
So he could kill it.
Because the Wolf Riders are same speed as actually only slightly slower than the Scout, he can actually maybe catch the Scout on a village later at night. So this is very interesting, yeah.
Right, and if they had a good engagement at night, full damage with the fangs, maybe they hit several times, they could actually kill him in one turn, couldn't they?
They could, but
not
I
likely.
mean, if you trap him on a village, you can kill him in 2 turns anyway at night. So they'll be fine later.
Okay.
The Scout will have to either run away or, sacrifice his life.
Sure. So this looks like very high level play to me, as someone who's a little newer, and so I'm very interested with this, because I didn't know this kind of, I guess you could call it like raid tactic. I didn't know that people did this, so that's really neat.
Well, we call it pillaging, actually,
Pillaging.
in the Wesnoth community. That's an unofficial term for it. It just means taking villages without, just stealing them without a big fight or anything.
Here's something interesting from the Twitch chat. Krogan, and by the way, welcome to the stream, Krogan.
Wow, Krogan is here. Hi.
Krogan is here. What's up? He says, the Elvish Scout could have taken the keep behind the troll, blocking him from recruiting. Interesting. But the wolf stopped him.
Actually, you're right.
The wolf stopped him.
That wolf did stop. Did the wolf stop him? I don't remember.
I don't know.
I'm such a noob.
I think that are we talking about this?
That was definitely a threat. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for pointing that out. I didn't even think about it because I'm such a noob.
So this Tinnith, the Elvish Scout, potentially could have reached the place where the rock lobber currently is standing, and stopped him from recruiting.
Right, and that would be potentially disastrous because then he would not be able to use any of his gold for any more new units, and his units would just get slowed, trapped, and hit by wozes and they
eliminated one by one.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to point out, I didn't know this, but the messages actually are recorded in the replay as well, and Caritas is saying that he forgot to recruit one more grunt before his first attack. Had money, pretty bad mistake. So that explains why he had less grunts than you thought that he would have.
Yeah. I was curious about that because he had a lot of utility units, very few grunts, yeah. He must have wanted to, he must have failed to recruit one more grunt just because he forgot, yeah.
Okay, let's see the next turn. Ooh, that's 16. And he does what I thought he was going to do before, when I didn't realize the wozes were too slow. And he crushes, just completely crushes that little troll whelp.
That troll whelp never stood a chance. He was just fighting with trees with his bare hands. Rest in peace.
I don't know how Caritas is going to deal with these wozes. They're so tough. He only has one archer to do the fire damage that will actually bust through their defenses, That's concerning.
Well, it is day. So actually the archer, because he is a chaotic unit, and chaotic units receive a damage malus at day, he only has one archer to hit it with, and it doesn't do enough damage to really kill a woes.
Not at all, no. Not with this much hit points. Look at that, 52.
52 for a level 1 unit.
Outrageous.
If you look at the Troll Rock Lobber's hit points, actually it's even less.
It has less, and that's a level 2 unit.
Yeah, exactly. So these wozes are so angry. They have their elvish forests have been trespassed on, and they will just destroy these orcish invaders.
For the people in chat who are not super familiar with Wesnoth, you have to understand that leveling up units is very hard to do. From what I understand, level 3 units barely even come into play in real games. So when you level a unit, it gets fully healed, and it becomes way, way stronger. Like, it becomes a brand new unit. So if that troll whelp had lived and not died and killed enough stuff, it could have become another troll rock lobber. So the fact that these wozes are so strong, even as compared to a level 2 unit, that's a big deal.
You're right. Actually, I'd really hope for a brighter future with that troll whelp, because troll whelps, they can become really nice level 2s. It's comparatively even better than the other level 2s that you can get.
Sure.
Because troll whelps, they just, it's a thing with them. They don't do much damage at level 1.
But they're hard to kill.
Once you get into level 2,
they regenerate.
Once you get it to level 2, it has even more hit points. It has more movement points also. Because he can stand on his legs now, he can walk around.
He's no longer on all fours.
He's no longer he is a fully grown troll at that point, and massive damage, like a woes at night.
Well, they're supposed to be made of rock, right? In this mythology, like trolls are literally just rock creatures, so that makes sense, right?
You're right. Yeah.
All right.
The rocks become very hard. Yeah.
Well, let's see what happens next. So he's still playing catch up. The assassin backs off to heal as well, and we see some recruiting. 2 archers, so he's going heavy on the archers, and I know that's to take out the wozes. That fire damage is going to be crucial.
Oh, those villages will be so hard to recoup later.
These ones back
and
here.
Actually, he takes that scout, wolfish, not wolfish scout, that wolf rider on that side. Okay.
That is interesting to me that he chose to go this way, because he could have done that from the beginning, but didn't. Was that a juke, perhaps?
What Krogan said is pretty important here, because the elvish scout, the wolf rider, must have prevented the elvish scouts access to the keep.
See, now you're doing it. You're getting confused with the scout versus wolf terminology. I gave you my disease.
So I mean, I think it may have been necessary at that point to use the wolf to prevent the elvish scout from blocking the keep, and now the wolf goes late to pillage some villages.
Sure. Just looking at the mini-map here, I want to just do this for a second, if I can find the right setting. I'm going to turn off the terrain. Look at the amount of blue, just like this sort of sword of blue being thrust into the enemy territory. I mean, that's a lot of material. I could count the villages, but, the picture kind of speaks for itself. We're seeing a lot of economic damage happening here.
Oh yeah, right now there are six villages to 10 villages as elf against orc. So even though you see all these orcish units being destroyed by the wozes, actually they're getting money from the villages to create new units.
Sure.
And soon actually it's already afternoon, so all the wozes will have to go home now. They have done their work, and it will soon be night, and maybe
and they'll get sleepy
because there are so many wozes and not many elvish fighters. There will be some damage to be done.
That and these wozes actually represent a big economic investment. I mean, that's like
40 gold total.
40 gold total, 20 gold each.
And for 40 gold, just for the viewers, you can get 3 grunts and even have some change left over to tip the recruiter.
All right, let's see what happened next. Okay, he's got 1 fighter. I think that's all he could afford. You can see his gold count at the top here. Oh, he's going for it. Oh, he's moving forward with the...
This is really brave.
That is brave, because next turn it's going to be nighttime, right?
Well, next turn it's going to be dusk, but...
Well, yeah, dusk I meant to say.
The wozes are in flat terrain. They have no terrain defense bonus at all.
Yeah.
They will just get hit like crazy from all these archers without even being able to hit back. So it's really dangerous here.
I suspect that this top woz is going to die next turn, just because, the fire... What is the penalty to their defense against fire? Minus 40, minus 50, something like that?
I think it is 50.
50,
if you mouse
it is 50.
Over you can see that, yeah.
50% extra damage, so that's significant. I could see, with a certain amount of luck and RNG going his way, that tree could really go down immediately.
So that tree should take 10 damage per hit, I think, from the orcish archer's arrows.
At dusk?
At dusk, yeah.
That's quite a lot, considering they get 3 attacks.
He only has 44 hit points, because he has just tried to hit the grunt and took a little bit of scratch damage.
That didn't work out so well for them either. They only hit him once, didn't they?
Yeah, these are really brave wozes. Because the wozes, even if you kill the grunt, you have so expensive units, and they can just get hit and they could get killed in the counterattack, and you have trouble reinforcing because it's so far away from your own keep, lines of defense.
You know what I think the worst thing is for the elf, though, is that he tried to slow this grunt, and it's very rare in my experience for magic attacks to miss so much, but both of them
Actually,
did.
they are not. I want to correct you, Malcolm. The slow is not a magic attack. It's
slow
just
is not considered
attack.
Magic? Interesting. I thought that
you can mouse over it. It doesn't say magic. Just
slow. It doesn't. Does that make... I don't know if that makes logical sense. It's a shaman casting a spell. How's that not magic?
You know, if it was magic, it would be
It'd be overpowered.
just way too good.
I understand.
Yeah.
I actually tend to agree that in game design, mechanics is more important than things making sense with the fluff, you know? You want it to be fun to play.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see how he handles this. I think this is going to be a massacre. No, is he not engaging? No, he's going.
Okay.
Oh, holy
sorry,
shit.
I've forgotten that it is still afternoon.
Oh, it is, isn't it? Ah, right, because each person gets a turn.
Okay, because I was such a noob, I forgot. Caritas is player 2.
Mm-hmm.
So the time of day changes on player 1's turn, not player 2's turn. Now it is dusk.
Sure.
But as you can see, those Woses took so much damage, even at daytime, and that one Wose is severely wounded. His sap is leaking out of his trunk, and he cannot fight anymore.
Are you sure it didn't cauterize the wound since it was fire damage?
You know, maybe. I'm not sure how Woses deal with being wounded, actually. That's an interesting thing, yeah.
But here's what interests me is the fact that, like, his RNG was awesome. He hit with both attacks on this guy, both attacks on this guy, and one of the attacks on this. So 5 out of 6 attacks landed, doing 8 damage apiece. Which, like, during the day, that's still quite a lot of damage on account of the weakness of the woes. So, on the other hand, he is going to heal a little bit next turn from the woes regenerate.
He'll have 12 hit points.
But he still would get two-shotted, I guess, by one archer?
He could, yes. Actually, it's not surprising to get 5 out of skip. It's not that surprising, because so if you mouse over the woes,
he has no defense.
Is 20%.
That's
only.
Crap. That's the worst possible, isn't it?
5 out of 6, it's 83%. It hits. It can hit. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I think that is the worst for a woes. For a woes, the worst possible.
So woses are they're so pitiful in defense at being punching bags on flat terrain.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot even I cannot even emphasize they're just going to get burned.
So you think this was a misplay? I'm guessing that he moved this guy forward.
Yeah, I think maybe Daniel BR did not see that. Well, he did not predict that Caritas would be able to recruit so many units on the defense.
And that's we're seeing in real time the result of that economic damage. The fact that Caritas was able to make just so much material, He's even got your favorite goblin friend here.
Oh yeah, for all the viewers, my favorite unit is the one goblin, because he is. You can see the little guy. He only needs 2 kills to level up. He is so cute, and he can do a lot of damage. He can even hit you 7-3 in your most I don't know how to say, your most fragile parts at night. It would be so dangerous to be hit by a goblin. Just that point.
You wouldn't expect it either. You think he's weak, he can't do anything, and then surprise, you're damaged for life. All right. You know what makes me the most sad about this, and then we'll switch turn after I say this, but this Woes has 12 out of 28 experience, so if he were to kill 2 more level 1 units, he would have leveled up, and instead all that experience is going to go to waste if it dies not next turn, but the turn after. So that's unfortunate.
Oh yeah, you're right. That Woes cannot. He was a good soldier. He killed a unit and he did a lot of hitting. 4 turns of hitting. That's how you get the 4
1 experience per. Yeah.
Oh no, he got 1 turn of hitting and 3 turns of being hit.
Defending.
Well, he still hit for 2 turns. That was a good Woes. But now he will be too slow to run away and he will just get burned.
It's just too much material. I don't see how he's gonna, even with zones of control, I don't think he has the ability to stop this from dying, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's quite, I'm quite worried for Daniel BR right.
Yeah. Okay, the scout is heading south. Woes retreats.
He runs away with the scout.
He's trying to block the way. He's using zones of control to block the way. And this looks kind of almost suicidal because the shamans are so fragile, right?
They are very fragile. However, they're all on. When
they are
forest, they have 70% to dodge any hits incoming. So maybe that will. I think right now Daniel BR is hoping that the high defense of forest for Shaman will save him, so he can run away. The next,
I see.
he is using his elves to shield the woses.
Well,
orcs.
also the fact that most of this material is archers. If he tries to use the archers to help with the shaman, those archers are going to get slowed potentially on the first counterattack, which will, I believe, have their damage on the future, even on that same attack, on their future bow strikes. So
yeah, you're right. Actually, the archers are not that good at hitting shamans. However, the leader is here, and the leader is very strong. He does how much damage? I think 10-2. Yeah, 10-2 or 17-1 per hit. I mean, per attack.
I'd go with the 10-2, probably more of a chance to actually hit through that forest.
So it's still looking quite dangerous for Elf here right now.
If he kills this single shaman, he can easily get one of these elves right in this little spot, right? Or no, he can't, because these guys are also blocking zone of control. Because if you move a unit here...
Can you scroll up a bit? I want to see where the Wolf Rider is right now.
The Wolf Rider...
So the hexes... Actually, that Wolf Rider cannot reach the Shaman. Oh, no, but the Assassin can reach to...
Oh, the Assassin, yes.
Can he? Yes, he can. So he can go on the mushrooms, and that Shaman actually is just going to be poisoned. She cannot get back home.
So she'll probably die.
That is a very brave Shaman.
But will she die fast enough, I wonder? Because poison is not... I don't think poison is going to help us kill the woes faster. We need this unit to actually go down.
No, it won't. But at the very least, Orc will get that Shaman as a consolation prize, if you will.
Sure. I would have felt better as the Orc about killing the woes for sure, just to get that experience off the field.
No,
because,
definitely.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like in this game, the number one thing you want to do is not let your enemy level up. And this is like another form of resource you're taking away from them, is the experience if you kill an experienced unit before it gets a chance to level. Is that right?
Yeah, you're right. Though with killing units also, obviously you have the gold cost of the unit to also consider.
Sure.
These wozes are very expensive units. They're 20 gold apiece. The Shaman is only 15 gold.
I see.
She is relatively more expendable, but of course, I mean, it's a valuable unit. You don't want to just lose it for free, right?
All right. Now, before I click the turn, I wanted to take a look at the what I'm going to start calling the raid war, I guess. Or what did you call it? Pillaging? This sort of counter-pillaging.
Yeah.
We see that Red has retaken these two these two villages, and now I think that the Blue Orc is going to have a little trouble continuing to cause problems here, right? Like I think he'll try to kill this scout as soon as night falls.
Well, yeah, he could actually.
50%.
But even if he doesn't, he can just stay on the villages and just those units will be so hard to drive out of the villages.
Sure.
It will just be impossible even at night, especially at night. And you know, there's just -2 villages inside the elf side of the field. And you look at the elf side on the other side of the field, who is going home because he was, you know, scared of being caught by the orcish forces. And that economic damage has mostly slowed and stopped for the elvish side against orcs.
That's true. I'm kinda seeing the tides get a little more equal, I guess I would say. I don't know who's gonna win this. No idea.
Me neither. It's an exciting game. Let's see what happens.
Okay, so it's like you said, he goes for the poison on the shaman, and he hits with all three.
Wolf Rider just retaking a village.
Ooh.
Okay, one hit on the elvish shaman.
Oh!
And he tries to the leader. Oh, so brutal. She just get
That was
punched in
smart.
the face
That was
there.
really smart that he chose to do the last hit with an archer. Because now that archer's not slowed.
And also the archer has low experience requirement to advance.
He's intelligent.
3 strikes. So he's more likely to kill the shaman.
Yes.
Oh, so brutal.
This is
the
a
units
sick
are just
turn.
getting massacred.
Wow.
Oh, even the mage getting hit.
Yeah,
Mage
so
dying. Oh my god.
he didn't get the woes, but like honestly, that was such a big turn for him that I think if I was the orc, I'd be completely happy with this outcome because he got
this
2
is really
units.
brutal. I mean, the fighter, shaman, and even the mage died in the same turn, and now he has a woes who cannot run away.
If you're the elf, what do you
So-
even do here? I mean, you can't fight. It's nighttime. Do you just run to the
Oh,
forests
man.
and hope for the best?
I think that's what he has to do, because obviously he cannot hit, and I don't know if I'm elf, personally, I would just GG, because this is
That's how bad it is.
So bad.
Wow.
His units are all slow, and they cannot get back home in time. And there
Yeah.
are just so many angry orcs at his
Material.
doorstep.
So much material here. I
Not
mean,
to
this
mention
is
the
hard to
orcs
count.
on his doorstep, they are also in the back door.
Yeah.
So, they're everywhere. It's like cockroaches. Once you see one, it just multiplies and you can never get rid of it.
Yeah, so the elf cannot even pull this stuff back, really, to help with the real main frontline war, because then he'd be giving up his economy. Very interesting. I think what's the most unfortunate thing is the scout, who's not really doing much, but I guess he could use it for more economic damage, maybe.
Well, he can
down
take
here.
a village still.
But that's not
It's
enough.
still something.
That's not
No.
enough to get him out of this. He's going to need some very
It
good
doesn't
luck.
change the real story here.
Sure,
Oh,
sure.
this is so brutal.
Well, let's find out if he gets out of it. So he does take the village. Recruiting one fighter, I think that's all he could afford. He has 11 gold left.
Oh, that's nice that he got be resilient strong. If you mouse
Oh,
over
I didn't
him.
see. How do you know so quickly? Does it pop up? Did you see?
I knew it because I have played the game for long enough that I know from the size of the health bar that he is
Size of
resilient
the health
strong.
bar. I knew it was some kind of wacky thing like that, just like having played the game enough that you spot it instantly. Yeah, no, you were right. He is resilient and strong, so he got
So
the
that
beefcake.
elvish fighter is a very strong soldier. He can, make a lot of retail those orcs at night, but
Sure.
it is just one strong guy against this whole horde of orcs. So we'll see if this very brave guy can hold.
You know what's interesting is, sure, there's a lot of material here. This looks ugly as hell, but he's kind of in a similar situation as he was last turn, to where this woes is protected on all sides from the shaman, okay? So he's going to have to cut through the shaman, and on top of that, he's going to have to do that from the relatively shitty position of shallow water, right? All of his dudes...
I think it should be fine, really, because he will not take much damage from the shaman.
That's true.
Let's
Fair
be real
enough.
here. She has a little stick in her hands. What's she?
I'm trying to be
optimistic.
optimistic. I'm trying to be optimistic for our orc, but I do agree with you. The shaman is not going to do much, at least not in melee for sure.
Also, I think he can actually reach the other side of the shaman.
With one of the grunts, yeah, he can reach this
the
spot.
grunt? Okay, yeah. So actually, that shaman will again suffer the same fate.
Oh, he'll
as
die,
her
no
friend.
question. No question. The
And-
shaman is going down.
Yeah,
He'd have to
it
get
looks
very
really
lucky.
difficult right now.
Right. And kind of the pillaging looks pretty unchanged. I guess I find this interesting. Like, why did he move this wolf rider here instead of camping on this village?
That's interesting.
It's odd,
Perhaps
right?
he wanted to have the wolf rider be able to take a village back at home, because the wolf rider might get eventually trapped by the elvish scouts and the fighter.
I see.
And that wolf rider can go home and take the village back from the elvish scout, while the elvish scout goes back home in his side.
Okay, Krogan just pointed out that I actually was wrong. This is not just shallow water; these are fords, and so they get the best of
that's
shallow
land
water
terrain.
and flat.
Yeah.
So yeah, same as this grass here for units that I care about.
40% for the orcs. Shallow water would be 20%, just for the viewers. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So he just goes right back onto the village with that rider. 2 misses, starting out good for the elf. Holy shit, another
That wolf
2
rider is
misses.
joining. Okay, very dodgy.
6 misses?
Wow.
I would be so mad.
Well, what can you do? It's 70%.
Sure, that's true with the
She doesn't
forest.
make much retail. She has slowed the assassin, but it doesn't make a big difference. What it does make is that the woes will go home and live to fight another day.
Yeah,
Dawn
every
is coming,
turn.
and
Every
these
turn that he
brave
survives.
shamans have sacrificed their lives. Yeah,
Yeah, and every turn that he survives, he gets health back. So
you're right. Yeah.
But I still don't
These
think this looks
wolves
good.
it looks very dangerous still.
Yeah. It seems to me like the orc, he had a bad turn, but he's still advanced his dudes. Okay, and he landed the poison. Isn't that the most important thing, would you say?
That is the most important thing. It would be obviously nice to kill the shaman as well, not just get the poison, but you cannot get everything in life.
You know what I think my problem is with this game, and one of the reasons why I haven't gotten good at it yet, is I think I underestimate the power of being on the right terrain. Like just 40% versus 70%, for example, flat versus forest for the shaman. It's like a world of difference, right?
Oh man, definitely, yeah. 70%, just it's so annoying when you are the defender has his units on 70% because you could have 4 hits, you could still miss, and you kind of let's not have gambler's fallacy here, right?
Right.
You miss all your last hits, that doesn't make it more likely to hit your next hits.
Of
Then you
course.
miss those hits as well, and then you will start crying. And that's a very normal reaction for many players, myself included, even sometimes.
Oh, yes. I mean, it's enraging because
Yeah.
human beings are not good at dealing with actual randomness. We expect, like you said, the gambler's fallacy, where it's like I missed several times in a row. I flipped the coin several times in a row and it landed heads, so now surely the next time it'll be tails. That's not actually how the universe works, and it's not how this game works because it was built by math nerds instead of people who were trying to play to human nature. So it is an interesting style of design, I think, and in this case, it's benefiting the elf quite a bit, who has set up the shaman in kind of the best spot, I guess.
Yeah, she is on a forest. The elves forest are the elves' homes, and she can just dodge as much as she can
Hmm.
in that terrain.
I
So
think
nimble.
I think 70% is the highest any unit can get on any terrain. Is that right, or did dwarves get
Yes,
80%?
except for some add-on units.
Okay, so
But
in the base
yeah,
game.
yeah.
Okay, interesting. All right, let's see how this plays out. Oh, he's going for it. Okay. A little bit of damage on the wolf. Not that it really matters, so just heal it. Got a slowed
And
grunt.
that elf goes back. Okay, he goes back in.
So he's just sacrificing the shaman for sure.
Yeah,
He had nowhere
cannot
to
be
go.
saved. She was poisoned. She was slowly dying, and now
She
she
was
will die.
zone of control. She couldn't even leave if she wanted to.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a pretty. Not much happened that turn, you know.
Okay, many elvish fighters getting recruited. I think that other elvish fighter must be either resilient
Dexterous.
strong or resilient.
He's dexterous strong.
Oh, he is. Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we got a resilient strong fighter from the last turn, and now we also have a dexterous strong.
Well, these are strong guys. They can make 6-4 as opposed to 5-4, and they benefit a lot from the strong trait. They do much damage.
Sure.
So it's very hard to attack any further now.
Well, the elf needs it.
course.
The elf needs it
Yeah.
because his economy is so bad that these are, he's not getting very many units. He's only got 6 gold right now, and he's getting 13 per turn. So the most he can really do is like one fighter, spit out one fighter
Well,
per
actually,
turn.
it's quite about the economy. Right now, Elf has retaken some village in orcs territory.
Yeah,
So,
okay. That's actually, okay, I missed that.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, so it looks like this is a little better for him than I thought.
Yeah, and there's only one wolf, so he can either retake the villages or he can try to stop the scouts somehow with committing other units.
He would
So
need,
actually, it's not that bad.
he can't trap him because he's got this wolf rider that could go in there, but the spearman can't quite reach.
No, and it's a level 0 unit, so actually he
Doesn't
cannot
have a zone of control. You're right, I forgot about
So
that.
he can do some damage, but he will never catch the scout. He is so slow. He's a stupid goblin. I mean, it is cute, but
Literally
it's stupid.
Well, he
Yeah.
doesn't have the dim trait, but he does have the slow trait.
No. Slow trait.
All right, I'm interested to see what happens next.
I think the kills are really piling up on this side.
Yeah. Oh man, these misses. How upsetting. He could have leveled. He could have leveled that archer up if that kill had happened.
That's right. He definitely could have, and he had a good chance to do it, but he gets the kill. So
Hey.
still looking good. The assassins are going home to threaten the scout. Scout will be poisoned if he tries to go any further.
Yeah. Hey Envy, thank you for the bits, man. I appreciate it. Also, welcome to the stream, and yeah, this is Wesnoth. You don't know about this game, but you will soon.
Welcome.
Yeah, man. I'm here with Hardwood. He's my buddy who I'm still calling you my expert since I'm newer to the game than you are.
I have to be an expert right now that you have called me an expert.
Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot here. I'm not quite sure why the alert didn't pop up. But maybe that's for the best because the volume is such that you know what, Envy? I think that Muxie just hates your alerts, dude. Because last time you gave me bits, it didn't see it, and I don't even see it in the queue right now. So yeah. All right, back to the game. So what do you think about that last turn, Hardwood?
Well, that shaman died as she should have, and now there are still, but right now there are orcs stuck in the front. Actually, this grunt can be zocked, and he can be trapped and killed on his way before he makes it back home.
Sure. Hello, Sun Nif. This is a person from the Wesnoth community. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
All right. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for coming.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm asking you if you know Sun GNIF.
Oh no, I don't. No, sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Hi,
that's
though.
okay.
Hi, welcome.
Hello. I like your little what is that symbol? Looks like a little. That's an actual sun. Okay, that's pretty cool. Made a little emoji there. So yeah, you think that this front-facing grunt, the one named Vish, is going to get zone of control? Is that right?
I think it's definitely going to get zone of back home, but actually, I don't think he will make it back home because there is a leader there. Hard for orcs to fight a day, even though he has many units. He has only one assassin. So what you want as orc to fight in the day are assassins and trolls.
Sure.
There's only one assassin in reach. So only one unit can be poisoned, and the assassin would then be vulnerable.
He has another assassin back here, by the way, which I think was probably the right choice, to be using more than one.
Yeah, that assassin is from earlier, I think.
That's right.
That assassin is a little bit too far to reach any units that would be trapping the orc.
That's true.
Grunt.
And this is, again, probably, this may be a tactical flaw on my part, but when I play this game, I am so focused on getting experience and keeping my experienced units alive, and if I was the orc right now, I would be, terrified of losing this archer, of losing this assassin. I mean, I would almost want to just sacrifice this grunt just to make sure they survive, which is probably a mistake. But, yeah, that's just how I'm thinking, because it seems like level 2 units are so good.
Experienced level 2 units are very nice. As orc, it's as any race, it's always nice to have level 2 unit. But I think it's also important to consider the other side, that you give the grunt to the elf, and that's 8 experience that elf can have. As you said about the woes earlier, that woes only needs 2 more kills to reach level 2.
That's
true. It can be a real hardwood when it levels up.
All right, goodbye. Okay, it was fun streaming with you. I'll see you later.
Yeah, so it's quite dangerous to feed experience to elves, because elvish units, they become so cool when they level up. They get leadership, they get lots of damage.
Yeah.
They get
leadership is huge. That's like a force multiplier, right?
25%.
Yeah, I mean, but that's so big in this game because it seems to me that other than healing and leadership, I don't think there's anything else in the game that quite works, works on other units, really improves the way that your other guys do. And that I call that a force multiplier because it's like one unit is increasing the power of everything around it, in certain ways.
Yeah, definitely. There's also illuminates, but we won't get to see that usually because that's
it's a high level ability, right?
It's level 3 ability.
Yeah. We are doing very well, Sunnif, and I'm glad you came to the stream. He said that he was never part of the Wesnoth community, but is stoked to see how far it's come since the original public release. Now, this is a slightly older version from, what did you say, about a year ago? 2018? Yeah. But as far as I can tell, other than today, I've never seen this before, this looks basically the same as the version that I play, the latest version, the Steam edition. I assume it's just like mechanics changes, slight ones since then.
I think it's probably just a bunch of bug fixes as usual.
Ah, okay. All right, are you ready to see the next turn?
Definitely, I'm excited.
Yeah. So he goes for the grunt like we
Okay.
thought, with his
Leader is
hero.
being brave. He is hitting
Oh,
the
he
grunt.
wants the kill with this woes, and he gets it.
Oh, he gets it.
One
Wow.
more kill, and this woes becomes.
These elves are so pissed.
Yeah.
They're hitting so hard right now. Even using the sword and the scout, that's how angry he is at the orcs. Ouch, 16 damage.
Well, it seems like the assassin is going to survive.
He barely hangs on, yeah. Wow. What a vicious counterattack.
Yeah.
That wolf is being trapped in the village. He has nowhere to go, and he will probably soon die in 1 or 2 turns.
This is so worrying for the orc, though, because, I mean, it kind of looks like he's got stuff in reserve here, but remember, the time is just terrible for him. This is dawn, so he has a whole day that he has to survive just getting, like, viciously owned by these angry elves and trees. You know, this is like, this is the Two Towers, man. These trees are coming to shake Saruman out of his tower.
Wow. These that one woes with all the experience is only 1 kill from leveling up, and there's so many weakened orcs. It might really happen. That would be really disastrous for Caritas, and I mean for Daniel BR, it would be a really great thing.
Sure, yeah. I mean, with as powerful as woes are at level 1, the damage seems to become even more insane at level 2.
You're right. It's just crazy. These woes can even 2-shot a grunt, depending on the grunt's traits at level 2 at daytime.
Yeah. Sunnif...
Can they? Actually, yeah, they can. They can. Yeah,
Sunnif is asking a very relevant question about Wesnoth. Does anyone know what to do if Windows suddenly won't activate because you switched hardware? I would recommend calling Microsoft. I think I had a very similar problem, actually, a while back. Not really a Wesnoth thing, actually, but it's okay.
That's tough.
Yeah, no, that does
not
suck.
Working. I recommend praying.
Yeah, Windows is notorious for nonsense like that. That's one of the reasons why I haven't run a Windows machine for so long. It's in the middle of the night here. They probably have dudes all over the world that'll answer the phone, I assume. I mean, they're like, what else are they doing with their billions of dollars? I hope they would answer the phone in the middle of the night, but maybe not. Anyway, what do you suppose the orc is going to do about this, Hardwood? Because this looks horrible.
Yeah, it's definitely terrible. I think there's not much to do except just the Joestar family tactic, which is just run away.
Okay. He wants to keep this archer and this assassin alive, right? Like, that's the primary goal here. So is he going to just... Do you think he's going to sacrifice Vrugdushnak here?
Well, it would
what?
be very nice. I think he has to make to keep them alive. I mean, I think he has to make a line of some sort on the keep for 60% defense, and maybe the forest also. Probably the forest. Yeah.
Well, you know, this may be
because
less bad.
The Woses cannot reach the forest that is 2 hexes away from his keep hex.
Right. Although the elf has shown a propensity for just like throwing these Woses into harm's way, so I know they can't move very far. But if we form a line, like if the orc forms a line close enough for the Woses to actually make it, I think the elf's going to have absolutely no fear about just rolling right in and attacking things, even high hit points things.
Well, actually, the elves, the Woses cannot reach. Only one Wos, the Wos in the back, the experienced one, cannot reach the keep.
No, he can't.
4 movement points.
No, he can't.
And the other Wos, only one Wos can reach. So actually, he may be fine if the Wos doesn't double hit.
Right. Okay, let's see.
Also, another thing I think we need to take note is maybe the elf would try to steal the keep. That's also another thing you have to think of. He can't reach it right now with a leader, but you know that's why he has to hold the keep, I think.
Sure, and that makes sense, to be honest. That's a tactic that Krogan suggested before. By the way, Krogan is not worried. He says that they can outrun the Woses, which seems to be what's happening. They're just scattering. By the way,
okay, he runs away. Yeah.
Yeah. Check this out. He got a Naga. You know, it's the only neutral unit.
Yeah, that's actually very interesting. The Naga. I don't play Howling Ghost Badlands that much, so I don't know about the Naga, but it seems quite unconventional. Perhaps he got it for the 60% defense on water
I think,
because it's a water unit.
as a neophyte, I'm gonna suggest something, and it may be dumb, it may not be, but I think it was a double threat. Like, number one, I think he got it because it seems to me that these positions on the water are not terrible, so it has high defense there. But also because he knows that this day, he's got a whole damn day ahead of him, right? But this is the only unit he can get that's not affected by that because it's neutral. So that's why I think he grabbed it. I think he knows that he has a lot of time in front of him, that he has to kind of fill before he can even do a real engagement. So this might be like probably the ideal unit to just like chill out and block stuff. Am I right?
Well, yeah, it's definitely it's a neutral unit. It does even strong, so it does 5/4 as opposed to 4/4. That's a significant damage increase from the strong trait there. I think perhaps he got it to block, help block off the keep should the elf try to advance and take the keep.
I see.
Because you would want to put a unit on top of the keep and then a Naga to flank the hex.
Is he even that worried about this keep though, since there's another keep down here that he could just move, kind of migrate to?
Well, it would be, it wouldn't be nice if the elvish hero would take the keep. He can obviously stop it, but that would maybe give targets for the Wozes to hit.
I see.
So the Wozes cannot get there in time, and if the Wozes would hit, it would be afternoon already, and then they would have to go home right after, or risk dying. It's
these
not
Wozes,
that big a danger.
These Wozes are so strong, but we're really starting to see the tactical limitation of them in this tiny, tiny, tiny movement grid, The orc can outrun them basically forever if he wants to.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think it wouldn't be good. It's not that feasible for...
True.
Like Krogan said, it's not that feasible for the elf to take the keep.
Yep.
But, those units are there. You need something to defend. And actually, the orc is switching his units. Caritas is switching his units to the other side. So maybe he will try to switch the front of attack.
I think so. I think he's trying to move
on that side without the Wozes.
Yeah, I think he is trying to really control the area of engagement, and maybe that'll work out well for him. But I got to tell you, this is the part of the game that's going to start to excite me because I see that a lot of units are getting experience. This dude is level 1, but he's got 11 experience out of 22. He gets 1 kill and a few more attacks, he levels up. Same for these orc guys, the archer and the assassin. And this Woz, I want to see some level 2 units soon.
It's so exciting to see level 2 units.
All right, let's.
That's like just leveling the game right up.
Let's continue and see how this works out. So he's really, really wanting to trap and murder that orc in the bottom left.
Oh, okay. So he goes back home and tries to take his Wozes on the other side. Yeah. That scout getting so lucky that actually both scouts got lucky. I was talking about the wolf, but yeah, that's a lot of retaliation on the fighter.
Yes.
In daytime.
Yes.
It has the wolf rider has reduced damage in daytime, but you can see from this how fragile, how frail these fighters are.
Yeah.
He took 15 damage and now he is under half hit points.
Sure. And also, because they failed to kill the Wolf Rider, he's going to get to heal next turn from the village. So this is unfortunate for the elf.
Yeah, it's, the Wolf Rider I think he will probably die, but that elvish fighter will have to heal up at nighttime instead of taking part in the defense. And right now, elf needs so much to defend on the left side.
Yeah.
Wozes and just a couple fighters against so many units.
Sure. I also want to point out that, at first I thought, why would he fight on shallow water? But again, I was bamboozled because these are fords, so he actually has decent defense here.
You can see there's a little graphical difference.
Slightly different.
The fords,
hard to see, but slightly different.
Well, is there any shallow water?
Is there shallow water? No, it's right here. There's shallow water right next to him, these two tiles.
Yeah, there is, okay.
But then the one that he's on and the one to the up and left of him is forward, so flat plus shallow water. Alright. I'm interested to see what the orc does at this point. I want to see where this Naga goes. That'll be
Yeah,
interesting.
I'm curious why he recruited Naga, where to put it.
Because he has 7 movement points, but his movement's pretty crappy on the land, I believe. So
His movement is basically determined by the shape of the water on the map. Yeah.
yeah, you know, this should be pretty interesting. Let's go.
Looks like Orc is gearing up for a big push on the left, though. So
Yes.
I wonder what will happen of it.
Well, he's got 24 gold stacked, so is he gonna buy something else, or is he gonna wait? I think he's gonna wait.
Pillaging with a gobble. You can see Orc has a huge village advantage.
Yeah,
These
he
villages
does.
are really starting to count in his favor.
Sure, he doesn't even need to recruit right now because he knows he can just make a ton of stuff later.
Well, he used all his money, I think. He has 0 gold.
Oh wait,
Yeah,
you're
he
right. I'm
recruited
wrong.
2 grunts.
He got 2 grunts. Okay, I stand corrected.
Yeah, actually, he might even attack on 2 sides. He has so many units.
Look at
and
this
Elf
material.
has spent his money.
You know, I thought that this day was going to be horrible for the orc, but look how proven wrong I was. It's just this inability for the elf to really push the attack due to his slow wozes caused him to back off, and the orc, you know, if you look at this, I want to do this again. Turn off the map. Look at the blue versus the red. I mean, it's just this huge swarm.
Definitely, wow.
I mean, that doesn't look good just visually. It kind of looks like the blue orc has really spread out, and he has a huge amount of control just over, I would call it map control. Do you guys use that term in Wesnoth? Like in StarCraft?
Sure, you can say that, yeah.
It just seems like, it seems like he really is, because it's like you're not gonna get some
4
pillagers
villages
past here.
inside Elf's territory. Elf only has half of his villages that he should.
Yeah.
So right now, Orc is getting so much more money than Elf.
Mm-hmm.
And Elf actually, Daniel BR, I wanted to point out, he banked his money. You can see in the top side he has 42 gold. So he was even saving his money so he can recruit some more units, because that is how low income, how poor, how much gold has been robbed from him from these orcish units on his villages.
That's rough, man. That's rough, not just for now, but for the rest of the game.
Stealing your money on your villages, he is laughing at you and just getting your healing.
Yeah, it's really a triple threat, you know. Just 1 second. It seems like I have this is not related to Wesnoth, but Anani Badger has a question for me about Dungeon Crawl. That's the game that I was showing you the other day, Hardwood. I found a D3 crystal plate armor as a demon spawn. Do I abandon all spell casting? That would depend on what kind of demon spawn you are. If you started as a caster, probably not. Crystal plate is really amazing, but it really does stop you from casting, you know, at all. So, I mean, if you haven't picked your god yet, what you could do if you wanted to, I guess, is wear the crystal plate and then kind of go for more of a melee god. Something like Rue or Gozag would make it easy enough. You could even go Trog if you wanted to. It might be kind of weird if you started as a caster. I will say that wearing the crystal plate will make you virtually immune to a lot of the stuff you would otherwise be afraid of, especially like adders and stuff in the early game. So, I mean, would I do it? Probably. Honestly, I might, even if I was like a demon spawn conjurer or something, I might actually pop that crystal plate on, no joke. It really kind of depends, though. I'd have to see, I'd probably have to see more of the character to give you some straight advice, you know, fully informed advice. Anyway, let's see what happens next turn, man.
Okay, great, yeah.
So he's just, obviously he wants this guy dead.
Yeah, but
the luck!
He took so many units to kill.
He didn't even get the village.
Wow, we said that at the same time.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And he made so much retail on the elvish fighter. The elvish fighter is heavily wounded just from using his sword.
They're gonna build a statue of that wolf rider.
You used your main weapon, and you're already so wounded. It looks bad.
I mean, that wolf rider, he put in work. The value off that wolf rider is just outrageous.
Yeah, you know, as you know, there was one famous player who did some casting. As Neki would say, that was a good death. That wolf rider's death was not in vain.
It wasn't.
And
no.
Yeah.
I mean, this just looks so ugly for the elf. I mean, I do think it's interesting. Like, now we're in, I guess this would be considered maybe the mid or the late game. It's interesting. The mid game. In the mid game, it seems like, and I don't know if this is always true, but at least on this map, it looks like things are so much more spread out than they were before. You know, you don't have one big battle at one spot and then like some pillaging happening off to the side. It's just like the war is everywhere now. You know, and that's really interesting to me.
Yeah, actually, the thing with orcs is they have so cheap units. They grunts even a woes cost 20 gold. A elvish fighter costs 14 gold. So, and he is taking the elves villages, so he can have so many more units that he can just afford to have units on both sides to attack on both sides and just make pressure where there's only maybe enough elvish fighters. The elf is just spread so thin that he can only maybe put one fighter on one village.
I want to see these Woses get into the fight again, but I don't think I'm going to get to for a while. On the other hand,
it looks quite dangerous for those Woses to fight at.
Well, Bombtro is almost fully healed, and I might consider it a good risk because, like, if he gets one kill, he levels up, and that means he gets fully healed. So he could kind of cheese that, I think.
You're right. He does need the kill to be on a level 1 unit, though, because level 0 unit 4 XP in Wesnoth. So for level 1 unit, actually, that woes, I don't think he can reach any unit.
Is his movement on mountains worse? Oh, it is.
Yes.
So you're right. He cannot reach the Orcish Assassin like I thought he could. This mountain's in the way.
He is just a slow tree. He cannot reach that.
He's not a mountain tree, apparently.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what happens. Now, I don't think the orc. I mean, it's not nighttime, so he's not actually. We're not going to see any swings, I don't think.
Oh, so many grunts coming on that side, and there are only 2 elvish fighters. They are so outnumbered.
Okay,
looks
so
really dangerous.
Is this fighter going to go down? Nope.
He will get poisoned
just poisoned.
To have 1 HP the next turn and die from even being looked at.
Being touched, being breathed on.
Oh, so bad. This looks so bad.
Look at this.
The Moses cannot even reach anything.
Look at this solid line of blue. You know, kind of like an almost encircling sort of thing on the minimap here.
Yeah, this looks so intimidating.
Yeah.
As, like elf against orc. What can you even hit? It's dusk. The orcs are doing not reduced damage anymore.
Yeah.
The one fighter is poisoned. You have nothing to hold the village on the left.
I have to say,
scouts...
the orc has just done an excellent job of only engaging at night and staying out of range of the Woses, and so it's just he's really controlled the battlefield, don't you think?
Yeah, actually, maybe apart from the first night when he attacked and he had 1 grunt less than he should have and he lost a lot of units, I think definitely Caritas has done very well this game.
Yeah.
He recruited units to defend against the Woses. He hit the Woses and he trapped a lot of shamans. Maybe the Woses Daniel BR overextended his Woses, and that's yeah. Now
this is kind of an aside, but I am curious. So we've got Daniel BR here, and we've got Caritas, and you said that this game used to have a ladder. Were these players rated at the time? Like, would one of them have been rated as higher than the other, or did that not ever?
Actually, they were both really high-rated players. I think definitely above. But if you want, I can actually check that right now. Shall I check it?
If it only takes a second, yeah, I am pretty curious because that could give us an idea of like which player is favored.
Caritas is rated 2205.
Okay.
And for just for some context, over 2,000 rating just means you're a really good player already. So
okay.
This guy's 2205, and I will check for Daniel.
Remember, it's 2 N's for some reason.
Yeah. And Daniel BR from Brazil is 2137. So these are definitely both really good players.
Okay, but the orc Caritas is rated just slightly higher.
Slightly.
Okay, not enough to matter, you think? They're about the same skill level?
Maybe it matters, maybe it doesn't, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Alright, let's keep this going.
Oh, looks so tough right now.
Yeah.
Hitting the gobbo, but he misses with the woes. He really needs...
Oh, the gobbo survives the woes attack.
The little guy lives. And will he live?
What a champion gobbo!
Wow. He makes 3 out of 3 on the elvish fight.
I'd be so pissed.
Gobbo really had his good spearhead on.
Spearhead, he just jumped out of the way of all the attacks, man.
Yeah, and he hit the Elvish.
Oh, first level up with the game.
Level 2 Elvish Scout.
Yep.
Oh, and the little guy dies. That's so sad, but okay.
Yeah. You know, this is really interesting because like my instinct is that the elf is having a real bad time, and he is, but he did get the first level 2 unit. You know, this Elvish Rider. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, I would love to be not biased as well, but realistically, the Elvish Rider, not a strong fighting unit, level 1 is level 2 Scout, and it's.
Okay.
I mean, this is not Dynasty Warriors.
So he's a scout unit, so he's just not as valuable in actual
he's
combat.
Not going to beat the whole Orcish army on his own.
No, not on his own. No,
it looks tough.
Well,
it's a nice unit though. It looks tough.
It does look tough, and the big thing is like the hit point bonus. I think he's much beefier. 47 versus 33 for the level 1 versus the level 2. So.
However, about scouts, one thing is they're not so good at defending villages by standing on the village.
Right.
He only has 40% on that on flat village.
Okay.
So even though he has many more hit points, he would be more likely to get hit than an Elvish fighter.
I see. Okay. Yeah, let's keep going.
That fighter the poison fighter has taken the village.
Yep.
He will die where he was born. And, these elves are getting hit. It is even dusk. It is not orcs' time to hit, but
they don't care. He's overrunning. He's overrunning him. He's got so much stuff that
extra interest on the trouble that will come later.
Right.
And he is running past all those elvish fighters in the village, saying, "I won't even bother with you. I'll just run past and yeah."
He wants to institute an elvish genocide.
Oh. Rough.
Yeah, this is bad. This is looking real bad for the elves, man. This is going to be a dark night.
Maybe the last night. We shall see, I guess.
I think we had an observer drop in during this, and he's just like, "Hi, have fun." At some point, this Ariu fella. I didn't know you could join games when they were in the middle of happening.
Actually, yes, you can come in as an observer, and frequently the observer is a great source of community interaction.
Cool.
And lots of players will join to just, say hi, talk with the players who are playing. Mm-hmm. Talk in observer chat also.
Right. A similar thing happens in Dungeon Crawl. I don't know if you saw the web tiles for people who don't Twitch stream.
You had a little thing that says how many spectators you have anytime, right?
Mm-hmm. That used to be very popular back in the day. I think that people have mostly migrated to Twitch, but back in the day you would have these
I didn't see any spectators in your game. I'm sorry.
Right. You don't get very many unless you're super big in the community these days. But back in the day, anybody could get like 13, 20 spectators just by playing and doing interesting stuff, I guess
that's pretty good, yeah.
I guess you could say that Dungeon Crawl...
I can imagine, right, that although I've never played Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup before,
right,
that makes you feel like you're not alone in the dungeon. It's a sense of community.
Sure. Well, because they can give you advice,
they can? Wow.
Absolutely. Okay. There's nothing stopping them from telling, it's like a turn-based game, so if you're stuck and you think you're going to die, it's very nice to have a group of people who you can kind of bounce ideas off of and try to decide what's the best thing I actually do here, to keep myself from losing.
I mean, I've played a bit of roguelikes before, some net and some other games. And,
sure.
Definitely, if you had a lot of crowd around you, it's like they can say, should you hit, or should you drink that potion, or should you read that scroll?
Yep.
Which is the best desperation try.
Exact same kind of stuff.
It's like you have a whole crowd of invisible people inside you in the dungeon, and they're saying how you should die.
Oh, how you should die. Oh, hopefully how you should survive. Although some people will give you bad advice on purpose. You gotta watch out for that.
Really? Oh.
Not really. Not usually.
Oh, okay.
All right. Let's see how this elf is. He gonna? It's an epic game. Is he gonna turn this around?
I think maybe lights out for elf. Both figuratively and literally.
Well,
he's taking his hero there.
He's gone in with his hero though. Oh, am I gonna see a level 2 woes? I am.
Oh wow, the woes level.
Oh, he's got a big beard now.
He's a big tree now.
He's tree beard
at night.
Oof. Yeah. That's big.
And the other Woes is not so lucky. He cannot hit. He is blind.
Big hits on those fighter ranged attacks.
Yeah, that is a dexterous fighter. He is good at using the bow. And the scout, I think, did the scout miss?
Scout missed everything. The level 2 scout just didn't get any play.
Scout. Oh.
Well, he's got 60% defense on this forest though, so
you're right. He is providing good coverage for the other units.
Zone of control, blocking all this stuff from really getting in.
But that thing with the elvish hero, that looks very desperate to me.
That looks dangerous. Yeah, I mean he is. Well, I don't know actually, because look, we've got 2 grunts, okay, and an archer, and then another grunt. But all this stuff is zone of controlled, and I guess technically this wolf rider is around to, you know, maybe come in and attack one of these Woses, although that seems suicidal. But what I'm saying is that this is going to use up at least 1 turn, this fighter guy, when he dies.
Yeah.
And then you've got a couple more guys, and like, what are they going to do exactly to fight the hero? Like, the worst thing they can really do is move a dude into that spot and attack. That's not going to kill the hero. That's going to barely touch him.
Well,
so I don't
if the
know.
elvish fighters die, what I'm thinking is that the orcs would have access to the keep and the...
He's not, oh my god, he's not on the keep tile. I just noticed that.
Yeah, and maybe he would even get surrounded later.
Yeah.
Maybe even by the Naga, I'm not sure.
But does he, I mean, I'm just saying, like, with these huge green beefcakes by him, is he worried about getting surrounded? I feel like he'll be able to fight right out of it.
Well, it is night.
It is night.
still only first watch, and Woses do not hit that hard. So actually the Woses are, especially the level 1 Wos, he is, I mean, he is not really a damage dealer. He can,
sure.
He's kind of like a punching bag, but he still hits, but he is actually a punching bag.
Well, I think he still does 10 damage at night, right? So I feel like, I don't know, can't he just hit the archer twice and kill it?
He tried to do that, but you need to, that's against 40%, that's 36% chance to get it. So it's not that likely to actually make it.
Yeah, okay, interesting. Let's see how it goes.
Oh, 2 grunts per turn. These grunts are just streaming in.
That's a lot of beef, man. Ooh. I don't see how the elf survives.
The gobble hitting. That gobble was angry about what had happened to his friend before.
Getting revenge.
The archer, will he level? The archer
levels. Oh, shit.
Oh my god. That level 2 archer is so strong at hitting.
Yeah.
He won't take any he won't take insignificant retaliation from elvish fighters. The archer can just shoot whoever he wants, like he is in the USA. It's such a deadly taking another village.
I can tell you as an American, that's actually how it works here. I own several guns myself. You know what interests me about this crossbowman is the fact that he does so much damage, and he has fire damage available to him, so he will just slaughter these Woses. Like, this is the silver bullet.
He will tear through the Woses like, I don't even know, like what.
Yeah, like a hot knife through butter.
It's arson at this point, what he would commit.
Yes. Well...
And, okay, just Daniel BR, GG's.
Oh, he GG's. GG will play.
GG's, it's over for him.
All right.
He's had enough.
He just realized he couldn't get through all this material. It's very interesting.
There's just too much orcish meat in the meat grinder to grind.
He got orked.
It's all ogre now.
It's all ogre now. I believe that Caritas proved once and for all that this was his swamp.
Yeah, it was a really good game.
It was, yeah.
Lots of back and forths, and Elf, I think Daniel BR had some really nice counterattacks at some points, but unfortunate that he overextended a little bit. Those poor shamans just came out straight out of shaman school, and then they had to sacrifice themselves against orcs. Can you imagine that? It would be so brutal.
Not good. You're just like a little bookworm, and you have to go into battle with these hulking, brutal dudes with swords. I wouldn't want to.
Just this toxic masculinity.
Oh my god!
Being thrown at you.
All right, you're kicked off my stream forever for the second time. The first was for a pun. The second for horrible politics. All right. No. What would you say is the biggest mistake the elf made? Because I think I think it was the Woses, like you said, overextending, jumping
Yeah.
forward when they shouldn't have.
I think I would definitely say he had overextended with those Woses. Woses are very slow units actually, so their range to hit with them, to reach with them on the offense or even the counterattack is not that high. It's not that long. You can maybe hit some units in defense at night or at dawn or even first day, but if you try to hit at second, it's hard to get it back home already. And you're taking
Yeah.
hit going back home. You're not in cover. You're on 20%. As you remember, there were 5 out of 6 hits. If a 6th hit had hit with the woes would have died at day.
Right.
Yeah,
That's rough, man. And that 4 movement points, really, you cannot afford to screw up even once, it seems like, because, unscrewing your mistake takes a lot of effort and time with 4 movement points a turn.
definitely. I wonder actually about the recruits. Maybe could have gone with just a single woes.
Mm-hmm.
Would that have been enough or not? It
I don't
could
know.
have been. It could have been because the woes still is a very good hitter, even if there is only them trolls.
What would you say
Maybe a
is
second
what's
woes
the
was overkill.
what's the best anti-grunt unit that the elf could have fielded? Would that be an archer?
Definitely elvish fighters.
Fighters, really? See, I would have assumed it's an
Elvish
archer.
fighters are against grunts, but you need them in the right because I mean they will of course be outnumbered by grunts just from sheer gold cost alone.
Okay.
But actually, if you have enough elvish fighters to cover each other, they will not be hit from so many hexes at the same time. So they will be far less likely to die. And you can actually, when you're forming a line, you just shoot the grunts with your little short bows and make some scratch damage on them to discourage them from hitting you. So what I like to say about the elvish fighter, the sword, is really for self-defense.
Okay.
So but self-defense it can be like construed in different ways. I'm sure since you're American, you know about this. So
The castle doctrine, man. Keep yourself out of my house.
yeah, exactly. So any like orcish archers or some assassins, you can hit it with a
Yes.
fighter, and
No, I
it
see.
discourages them from coming to the front.
Yeah.
But the bow is what you want to use against grunts usually.
So yeah, because no retaliation.
I mean, even you saw what happened to the fighter who was hitting the wolf on the village for a long time. A day. That fighter took so much damage just from using his sword. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
But definitely, I think in a elvish defense, you should have some archers. Just have the fighters be able to shield the archers from grunts, because the last thing you want to do is get orcs.com from lots of grunts.
Orcs.com. I knew you were going to work that in at some point. All right. Well, that's a good place to stop the stream, I think. I had a lot of fun with this. I hope you did too.
Yeah, I definitely did. Thanks for having me.
No problem, man. I would like to do this again sometime. I think that, I think there's a lot of room for, I know it's kind of a tiny community, but I think there's a lot of room for commentary on these kind of replays. And I think that people doing this kind of casting, I believe, I think that it might actually bring some people in. It might actually revive the ladder scene a little bit. If I may be quite so pompous as to suggest that, like not just me, but if other people did it, because this is what.
Of course, I definitely hope for that as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
it's
attracts
always
people.
been a nice experience to just watch those ladder games and socialize with people. Wesnoth is so deserted these days compared to before.
Yeah, and I mean, we could probably have a whole stream talking about why that's the case, definitely, but not today.
Maybe not, yeah.
Yeah.
Not now.
All right.
Yeah, but this was really fun. Thanks for having me.
No problem, man.
Hope to do this again soon with you. Yeah.
Sounds good, man. Well, thank you, Hardwood. Thanks to all the viewers. Thank you. Well, wait, one more thing. Krogan wants to see the stats. Let's do that real fast. Yeah. Statistics.
So for all the viewers, what this shows is because Wesnoth functions on an RNG, random number generator, so there's an element of randomness as to what goes on, whether you hit or not. So this statistics shows overall how lucky or unlucky you were. So if you play this game and you check out, if you press S in a game, you can see what the exact stats were. And then you know if you should feel bad for being unlucky or if you should feel bad for being too lucky.
Well, it seems like the statistics were pretty even. Caritas, the winner, he inflicted about 3%, and this is for the whole game, about 3% more damage than the average. And he actually took... Well, no. Caritas, maybe RNG played a role in this in this victory, because he took 7% less damage and he inflicted 3% more than is expected. Do you think that's enough to affect the outcome?
I think perhaps if you talk about how much role there played in the victory, actually, it would be best to look at the individual turns one by one, because a localized effect of luck has much greater impact than just overall. However, this total luck, total damage inflicted and taken, as opposed to the expected values, that shows maybe the life of 1 or 2 units. So it could definitely play a bit of a role. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I do agree. That does make sense, that individual encounters, that could swing the whole game, really, especially if it's like a pillaging unit and suddenly you turn them back when they otherwise, might not have been so easy to do just because you get lucky. I mean, that could change the whole course or the whole outcome of a game,
Definitely.
I think. Yeah.
And even especially in the case of orcs, since grunts and trolls have only 2 strikes.
Sure.
I mean, you saw so now I remember, actually, we blocking the path of the hero back to his own keep. That archer died from 3 out of 4, and he was on 60% defense. So it was not that likely. If that archer had survived, it would have maybe looked much worse for Caritas. Yeah.
Yep, sure. All right. Well, this was a good stream. Thank you, Hardwood. Thank you, all the people who stopped by the stream to view. No problem, man. And thanks to Caritas and Daniel BR for playing the game, because otherwise we would have nothing to talk about. That's going to be it for today. Thanks again, everybody. Until next time, I'm signing out.
See you next time, guys. Bye.
Did you know that there are many ways that you can help support this channel? Read about them on rosecrypto.com/support. At Rose Crypto, you can learn all about cool things like the Brave web browser, Bitcoin, and other cryptocurrencies. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.